The development of Muslims during the month of Ramadan in the UK shows an interesting dynamic, especially with the increasing number of Muslims and the growing visibility and influence of Islamic culture in society. Here are some key aspects of the development of the Muslim community in the UK during Ramadan. In recent decades, the number of Muslims in the UK has continued to rise. According to the latest census data, about 5% of the UK's population is Muslim, and many of them celebrate Ramadan as an integral part of their religious life. As the Muslim population grows, more mosques are being built, and there are more religious activities organized in various cities across the UK. Ramadan is not only a celebration observed within the Muslim community but has also gained broader attention in British society. Many non-Muslims have begun to understand and appreciate the significance of this month for Muslims. Over time, some companies, restaurants, and shopping centers have also started to adapt to Ramadan traditions. For example, some restaurants offer special sahur or iftar menus and adjust their opening hours to honor the time for breaking the fast. Ramadan in the UK is often a time when Muslims engage in social and charitable activities. Many mosques and Muslim organizations hold fundraising events for various charitable projects, such as providing food to those in need. Programs like free iftar, provided by mosques or Muslim communities for the less fortunate or those unable to fast, are also quite common. During Ramadan, Muslims in the UK increase their worship activities, both at home and in mosques. Tarawih prayers, which are performed only during Ramadan, often become a moment of togetherness that strengthens bonds among Muslims. Some mosques in large cities like London, Birmingham, and Manchester even become very crowded during Ramadan, with thousands of worshippers attending this night prayer. Although Ramadan is a blessed time for Muslims, there are also challenges faced. One of the challenges is the long duration of fasting, especially during the summer, when fasting hours can exceed 18 hours in the UK. This can be challenging both physically and socially, particularly for those working in environments that do not understand the significance of Ramadan or for children fasting at school. In addition, there are challenges in balancing professional life and fulfilling religious duties during Ramadan. However, many companies in the UK have started to better understand and accommodate Muslim employees by offering additional break times or flexible working hours to help them observe their religious practices more comfortably. The British media has also been covering Ramadan more frequently, through news reports, articles, and TV programs that feature the lives of Muslims during this holy month. Some TV channels or websites organize special events discussing Ramadan, from sharing recipes for iftar to interviews with Muslim figures who share their views on the meaning of Ramadan. Ramadan in the UK also serves as a time to strengthen the sense of solidarity between Muslim and non-Muslim communities. Many open events invite the general public to break their fast together, creating a space for dialogue between Muslims and the wider community. Some interfaith organizations also collaborate to promote interfaith understanding and encourage tolerance and friendship between communities. Overall, the development of Muslims in the UK during the month of Ramadan is increasingly visible in social, cultural, and religious aspects. Ramadan has become not only an important moment for Muslims in the UK but also an opportunity to build bridges of understanding between the Muslim and non-Muslim communities in the country. In the UK, Muslims and new converts to Islam, Mu'allaf, observe fasting during the month of Ramadan in various ways, considering the diversity of cultural backgrounds and social conditions in the country. Here are some of the ways they observe fasting during Ramadan in the UK. In the UK, especially during the summer months, the fasting hours can be very long. The fasting period can last more than 18 hours, as far, pre-dawn meal or sahur, begins earlier, and iftar, breaking the fast, happens later. For many Muslims, especially those who are fasting for the first time, this physical challenge can be quite tough. However, Muslims usually prepare well for it, such as having a nutritious sahur to help them get through the day. Many companies in the UK now offer flexibility to Muslim employees during Ramadan. Some provide extra break times or flexible working hours to allow Muslims to break their fast on time and perform other acts of worship, such as Tarawih prayers after iftar. Schools in the UK are also becoming more sensitive to the needs of fasting Muslim students, with some schools offering flexibility in schedules or even providing designated spaces for those who wish to pray or break their fast. During Ramadan, Muslims in the UK often gather with their communities for iftar. Many mosques and Islamic centers in various cities host public iftar events, open not only to Muslims but also to new converts and non-Muslims who want to learn more about Ramadan. These communal iftars become an opportunity to build social bonds and strengthen relationships within and between communities. Many Muslims in the UK, both new converts, mu'allaf, and long-time Muslims, increase their acts of worship during Ramadan. They often increase the frequency of their prayers, read the Qur'an, and attend Taraweeh prayers at mosques. For new converts, Ramadan is a time of blessings and an opportunity to understand the teachings of Islam more deeply. Additionally, Ramadan is a time to engage in social activities, such as giving charity, donating food, and participating in other charitable events. For new converts, fasting during Ramadan can be a challenging experience, especially if they are not yet accustomed to fasting rituals or are still adjusting to life as a Muslim. Many Muslim communities in the UK offer support to new converts, whether through spiritual guidance, study groups, or other forms of social support. They may receive specific guidance on how to fast, choose healthy foods for sahur and iftar, and perform acts of worship correctly. Mosques often provide spaces for new converts to learn more about Ramadan traditions and how to approach it with strong faith. Some new converts may find it difficult to fast for various reasons, such as health issues or adapting to new habits. In such cases, they are encouraged to speak with religious leaders or seek alternative solutions, such as paying fidya, charity for the poor, if they are unable to fast. Many mosques in the UK also provide support for those unable to fast, such as offering food for iftar or sahur to those in need. Muslims and new converts in the UK often have to adjust to a predominantly non-Muslim environment, especially when it comes to food and drink. Many restaurants, cafes, and even some supermarkets are beginning to offer halal food options or food suitable for those fasting. Some public places, such as shopping centers, are also starting to adjust their opening hours and facilities to respect Ramadan, although challenges still exist, particularly in busy public spaces. The media in the UK is increasingly featuring stories about Ramadan, both about the lives of Muslims and stories of new converts fasting for the first time. These programs help increase understanding among non-Muslim communities about Ramadan and encourage mutual respect between Muslim and non-Muslim communities. Overall, Muslims and new converts, mu'allaf, in the UK observe Ramadan with a strong religious spirit, despite facing unique challenges related to the long duration of fasting, work schedule adjustments, and living in a predominantly non-fasting society. However, there is much support from both the community and the wider society, which helps make this holy month a meaningful and peaceful experience. For Muslims who fast during the month of Ramadan, going through their daily routine, including working, can be a challenge. However, many Muslims manage to observe fasting well while continuing with their work schedules. One important way Muslims manage fasting while working is by carefully organizing their time and energy. They tend to go to bed earlier so that they can wake up for sahur, and then sleep again for a few hours after fajr prayer or before starting their work, if possible. This way, they stay refreshed and are able to maintain focus while working, even while fasting. Many companies and workplaces are now offering flexibility to Muslim employees to adjust their working hours during Ramadan. Some companies might offer longer breaks at iftar or allow workers to work shorter hours, especially closer to iftar time. For example, some companies provide more time for dinner or accelerate the end of the workday to allow Muslim employees to break their fast at home. Consuming nutritious food during sahur and iftar is very important for Muslim workers. At sahur, many people choose foods that provide long-lasting energy, such as complex carbohydrates. This helps maintain energy levels throughout the day while fasting. For iftar, they usually begin with light foods, such as dates and water, which are believed to provide a quick energy boost. After that, they continue with a more complete meal. Some workplaces also provide iftar meals for Muslim employees, or mosques and Muslim communities often organize communal iftar events. Some Muslim workers may experience a dip in energy and concentration during the day, especially if their work requires physical or mental exertion. Therefore, many workers adjust their work routines, handling lighter or administrative tasks during the day, and completing heavier or more concentration-intensive tasks after iftar or at night after Taraweeh prayers. In some professions, such as in healthcare or public service, Muslim workers may need to continue working long shifts. In these cases, they try to ensure they stay properly hydrated during sahur and iftar to avoid dehydration. Fasting can present physical and emotional challenges, especially when working while feeling hungry and thirsty. However, many Muslims who fast feel empowered by this act of worship, which can strengthen their sense of calm, patience, and resilience. Praying, reading the Qur'an, or focusing on the spiritual aspects of Ramadan can help maintain their mental health. For new converts, mu'allaf, Ramadan may also be a time to learn and adjust to new habits. They may need more time to understand the worship routine and time management, but many find support from the Muslim community around them. It is important for both Muslims and new converts fasting to communicate with their co-workers and managers about their needs during Ramadan. Some workers may need to explain the times for sahur and iftar and request special break times for prayers. Many companies in the UK and other countries are increasingly open and understanding of the importance of Ramadan for Muslims, offering support in the form of flexible working hours or space for worship. For new converts, Ramadan can be their first experience fasting. They may face additional challenges in adjusting their habits, but many feel supported by the surrounding Muslim community. Additionally, they may be more cautious in maintaining their diet and staying healthy during the fasting month. Many mosques or Muslim groups in workplaces also hold educational sessions or provide support for new converts, such as sharing experiences on how to maintain energy and enthusiasm during Ramadan or offering tips on observing the fast and worship more effectively in the workplace. During the month of Ramadan, Muslims, both long-time followers of Islam and new converts, mu'allaf, often increase their acts of worship, including performing Taraweeh prayers and engaging in tadris of the Qur'an. Both are highly recommended practices and carry great merit during this holy month. Here is an explanation of these two acts of worship. Taraweeh prayer is a voluntary prayer performed after the Isha prayer during the month of Ramadan. It has great merit because it is specifically performed during this holy month. While it is not obligatory, Taraweeh is highly recommended for Muslims and is often performed in congregation at mosques. When to perform Taraweeh, Taraweeh is performed after the Isha prayer and consists of 11 to 23 rakat, although some mosques may offer 8 rakat. The prayer is performed in sets of 2 rakat with a single salutation, salam. Merits of praying in congregation: performing Taraweeh in congregation at the mosque offers greater rewards. Additionally, gathering with fellow Muslims during Ramadan fosters a sense of community and solidarity. For mu'allaf or those newly converted to Islam, Taraweeh may be their first experience with this prayer. New converts may need to learn the correct way to perform Taraweeh and adjust to its longer duration and rituals compared to the 5 daily prayers. New converts typically receive support from local Muslim communities, either through direct teaching or through special events organized by mosques to help them learn the prayer and deepen their understanding of Ramadan. Tadris of the Qur'an refers to the regular practice of reading the Qur'an, which is commonly done during Ramadan. Every Muslim is encouraged to read more of the Qur'an during this month, as Ramadan is also known as the month of the Qur'an. Increasing Quranic reading: many Muslims strive to complete reading the Qur'an within the month of Ramadan. This is typically done by reading several sections, each day, so by the end of Ramadan, they will have completed the entire Qur'an. Tadris is often done in congregation at mosques or within family groups. Many mosques hold tadris sessions after Taraweeh prayers or at other times, where participants take turns reading the Qur'an in an organized manner. For mu'allaf, tadris can be challenging because they are still in the process of learning the Arabic script, tajwid, proper pronunciation, and the meanings of the Quranic verses. Therefore, new converts often participate in Tadarus classes or receive guidance from mosques or community groups. Many new converts are very enthusiastic about becoming closer to the Quran, and Ramadan is a great time for them to start the habit of reading the Quran daily. They may rely on translations of the Quran in their language to better understand its meaning. Taraweeh prayer and Tadarus of the Quran are extremely important acts of worship during the month of Ramadan. For Muslims, this is an opportunity to enhance the quality of their worship and draw closer to Allah. For new converts, it is a time full of challenges but also a great opportunity to learn and deepen their understanding of Islam. The support from the surrounding Muslim community is invaluable, and with sincere intention and hard effort, both new and long-time Muslims can attain great blessings and rewards during the month of Ramadan. The life of Muslims in Spain during the month of fasting, or Ramadan, has a unique atmosphere. Despite Spain being a country with a Catholic majority, the Muslim community in the country continues to maintain their religious traditions and practices during the holy month of Ramadan. Before the fasting month begins, many mosques in Spain hold welcoming events for Ramadan, such as religious lectures and charity drives to help those in need. Muslims in Spain prepare themselves by focusing on enhancing their worship and strengthening community ties. During Ramadan, Muslims in Spain fast from dawn until sunset, meaning they must refrain from eating, drinking, and other activities that invalidate the fast. Although the fasting hours in Spain may be shorter compared to countries in Northern Europe, the occasionally hot weather can add difficulty to fasting, especially in areas like Andalusia and Valencia. Like in many countries, Muslims in Spain will have sahur, the pre-dawn meal, which typically includes foods that provide a lot of energy to sustain them until it is time for iftar. After a day of fasting, Muslims in Spain break their fast at Maghrib, usually with dates and water, following the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad. They then continue with a heavier dinner, which often includes Spanish dishes adapted to Muslim tastes, such as couscous, tagine, or other Middle Eastern specialties. During Ramadan, the Muslim community in Spain frequently holds iftar gatherings at mosques or public places to strengthen bonds of brotherhood. In some major cities like Madrid and Barcelona, there are Ramadan markets or bazaars selling various special dishes and Muslim products. These moments become an opportunity to share happiness and introduce Islamic culture to the non-Muslim community. After iftar, Muslims in Spain perform Taraweeh prayer, which is a night prayer done after the Isha prayer. In some large mosques, like the Great Mosque of Madrid, Al-Quds Mosque in Barcelona, or Alhambra Mosque in Granada, many congregants come to perform this worship. These mosques usually hold special activities during Ramadan, including lectures and religious studies to deepen the understanding of fasting and the spiritual values of Ramadan. One important tradition during Ramadan is giving to those in need. Many Muslim organizations in Spain hold charity programs, such as providing meals for the poor or collecting donations to be distributed to those in need, both within Spain and abroad. Additionally, some mosques also prepare free iftar meals for less fortunate Muslims. Muslims in Spain often face certain challenges, especially when interacting with a predominantly non-Muslim environment. Some jobs may not offer the flexibility for fasting or worship. Nevertheless, the Muslim community in Spain is very supportive and helps each other maintain the spirit of Ramadan. Many restaurants and cafes in major cities offer halal food options, though these are still limited in certain areas. After a full month of fasting, Muslims in Spain celebrate Eid al-Fitr, a day of victory that is celebrated with great joy. At the mosque, Muslims perform the Eid prayer together, and afterward, they visit family or neighbors to exchange greetings. Overall, even though Spain is not a Muslim-majority country, the life of Muslims there during Ramadan is still filled with a spirit of togetherness and diversity. Ramadan becomes a time to deepen faith, strengthen social relationships, and show a positive contribution to the surrounding community. Muslim life at the workplace during Ramadan can present its own challenges, especially in countries where the majority of the population is non-Muslim. However, many Muslims manage to observe fasting well at work thanks to various adjustments and support, both from themselves and their surrounding environment. In some countries, companies may make adjustments to working hours during Ramadan to help Muslim employees maintain their fast. Working hours may be shortened, or some companies offer flexibility to start or finish work earlier. For example, employees may choose to work earlier in the morning so they can leave early and break their fast at home. However, this largely depends on the company's policy and the country in which they live, as well as the industry they work in. In some countries, especially those with many Muslim workers, such adjustments are more commonly implemented. For Muslims working in offices or places with prayer facilities, prayer times become an important consideration. The 5 daily prayers are essential, even when busy at work. Typically, prayers are done during working hours. For many Muslims, this means they need to find a quiet and comfortable space to pray. Some companies may provide prayer rooms for Muslim employees, or employees may need to find a secluded space. For those fasting, the most obvious and challenging part is managing meal and drink times. Here are a few ways Muslims manage this at work. Many Muslims choose to have sahur, pre-dawn meal, before heading to work, typically around 4 to 5 a.m., depending on the time of dawn. A nutritious sahur is important to ensure they can last the whole day without food or drink. After fasting all day, at iftar, the breaking of the fast, Muslims will usually eat light snacks, such as dates and water, before continuing with a main meal. If they break their fast at the office, they might bring food from home or choose to break their fast at home or at a restaurant after work hours. In an office setting, some Muslims may adjust their lunch break to a time outside the normal hours. In some companies, Muslim employees may be allowed to take an earlier or longer break at iftar time to break their fast comfortably. One of the biggest challenges for Muslims in the workplace during Ramadan is colleagues who may not understand the significance of fasting or how it affects their daily routine. Sometimes, colleagues might feel awkward or uncomfortable, or they might ask sensitive questions about fasting. In some workplaces, there may not be a prayer room or facilities for prayers, and this can be challenging. In such cases, Muslims may need to find a quiet spot around the office to pray. As the day progresses, some Muslims may feel more tired or less energetic, especially in the afternoon. This can affect productivity, but many adjust by focusing more and completing more demanding tasks in the morning before they feel fatigued. Additionally, some companies may be more flexible with productivity expectations during Ramadan. Some companies in countries with large Muslim populations or those that emphasize cultural diversity may be more sensitive to the needs of Muslim employees during Ramadan. This may include hosting iftar gatherings, providing longer breaks for prayers, or offering halal food options for Muslim employees. After Ramadan, Muslims celebrate Eid al-Fitr, which is often an important moment at work. Some companies allow Muslim employees to take time off for this holiday. In some workplaces, especially in areas with large Muslim populations, there may be an Eid al-Fitr celebration with halal food and activities to share happiness. Overall, while Ramadan in the workplace brings its own challenges, many Muslims successfully adjust in various ways, whether by managing their prayer times or seeking support from colleagues and their company. In workplaces that support diversity, Ramadan can be a time to enhance togetherness and mutual respect. Yes, there is indeed a phenomenon in certain parts of the world where many individuals who were originally Christian convert to Islam. This process, known as conversion or embracing Islam, happens for various personal, social, and spiritual reasons. There are several factors commonly cited as reasons why someone decides to convert from Christianity to Islam, although each individual's experience is unique. Many people decide to convert after feeling a spiritual emptiness in their lives that their previous beliefs could not fulfill. In many cases, they feel that Islam offers inner peace and a more direct connection with God, known in Islam as Allah. The concept of Tawhid, the oneness of God, in Islam is often particularly appealing to those who are dissatisfied with the concept of divinity in Christian teachings. For some, the teachings of Islam, which are seen as rational, clear, and providing comprehensive life guidance, are highly attractive. For example, the teachings about cleanliness, lifestyle, manners, and ethics in Islam can be very appealing. The practical and philosophical way in which life is organized, as well as guidance on spiritual, social, and economic aspects, makes many people feel that Islam provides a clear direction in their lives. Many people share personal spiritual experiences after converting to Islam, such as feeling profound peace after performing acts of worship, praying, or fulfilling religious duties in Islam. Some feel that after converting to Islam, they feel closer to God and believe their lives are more directed and purposeful. Someone who begins studying the Qur'an and Hadith, or who deepens their understanding of the life of Prophet Muhammad, may sometimes feel that Islam is the religion that better meets their spiritual and intellectual needs. They may feel that the messages in the Qur'an are highly relevant to modern life and carry universal values that are rationally accepted. In some cases, conversion may be influenced by family relationships or a spouse. A Christian who marries a Muslim may feel more connected to their spouse's religion and eventually decide to convert to Islam. Similarly, there are times when a Muslim family living in a non-Muslim majority country influences their relatives or friends to convert to Islam after seeing the lifestyle, morals, and peace in their religious practices. For some, religious conversion is a way to seek a new identity, especially if they feel disconnected from their former religious community. Islam, with its rich tradition and global influence, is often seen as an option because it offers a strong sense of community and comprehensive teachings. There are also many Islamic missionaries, Dawah preachers, actively spreading the message of Islam worldwide. They use various methods, both directly through lectures and via social media, to explain Islamic teachings in a way that is easily understood by people seeking the truth. Some individuals may be influenced by the sermons or writings of these missionaries, which highlight the beauty of Islam, whether in theology, philosophy, or way of life. In many countries, Muslim communities warmly welcome those who have newly embraced Islam, offering social support and helping them adapt to their new life. This welcoming environment often makes people feel accepted and appreciated, facilitating their transition. The phenomenon of conversion from Christianity to Islam is indeed happening in many places. However, the exact number is difficult to measure accurately because it often involves sensitive personal factors. Some organizations and research institutions have noted an increase in the number of people converting to Islam in certain countries, particularly in Europe, America, and parts of Asia. For example, in countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, and Germany, many non-Muslims, including Christians, have converted to Islam in recent decades. The life of Muslims in China during the fasting month, known as Ramadan, has its own unique dynamics, considering that the country has a diverse Muslim population spread across various regions. Most Muslims in China belong to two main ethnic groups, the Hui and the Uyghur. Although Ramadan is a sacred month respected by Muslims worldwide, in China, Muslims face their own set of challenges in observing the fast, especially due to the social and political restrictions in place. In China, Muslims observe the fast in a way similar to other Muslim countries, by refraining from eating, drinking, and avoiding bad deeds during the day. However, there are some differences in how they observe fasting, depending on the location and the socio-political situation surrounding them. Muslims in China, like in other countries, begin fasting at dawn and break their fast at sunset. In some areas, they rely on the Islamic calendar or local prayer schedules to determine these times. In large cities like Xi'an or Kashgar, Muslims typically attend mosques for Taraweeh and nightly prayers. However, in certain areas, mosques may face tight surveillance or restrictions during Ramadan, especially in regions with a majority Muslim Uyghur population. The Chinese government enforces strict policies on religious practices, including Islam. This can affect how Muslims in China observe Ramadan. In some areas, particularly in Xinjiang, which is home to the majority of Uyghur Muslims, there are even stricter regulations on religious activities. The government often monitors religious activities, such as prohibiting young people from going to mosques or practicing their faith openly. In some regions, the government even bans Muslims from fasting at work or school. Some regions hold educational or outreach activities aimed at combating extremism, often linked to stricter religious practices. This sometimes impacts the freedom of Muslims in practicing their faith. Despite these restrictions, the tradition of Ramadan remains alive among Muslims in China, with unique culinary variations across different regions. Although there are challenges in daily life, Muslims in China often gather to break their fast with family and community. This is a time of togetherness and warmth, though in some areas, these activities may take place under surveillance or with limitations. Ramadan is a very important time for family gatherings. Many Muslim families in China maintain the tradition of visiting each other and strengthening family bonds during the fasting month. In addition to fasting, many Muslim families in China also make time to be together, pray together, or discuss the meaning of Ramadan. It becomes a meaningful time, even though they may have to face the reality of certain restrictions. During Ramadan, Muslims in China also engage in various charitable activities. Although there are sometimes obstacles in gathering funds or aid, the Muslim community still strives to help one another, whether by donating food, clothes, or even providing places for breaking the fast for those in need. Muslims in China face significant challenges, from strict religious restrictions to socio-political pressure. However, for the majority of Muslims, Ramadan remains a time to deepen worship and strengthen social and family bonds. They continue to uphold the spirit of fasting and strive to live through this blessed month despite the difficulties. Amid various restrictions, many Muslims in China hope to maintain their religious identity and look forward to a future where the next generation can freely practice their faith peacefully. Tarawih prayers are one of the highly recommended Sunnah practices for Muslims during the month of Ramadan. During Ramadan, Muslims perform Tarawih prayers in various ways, depending on the social and cultural conditions of their respective locations. In many countries, including Indonesia, Tarawih is performed in congregation at the mosque after Isha prayer. In many places, mosques are filled with worshippers who come to perform Tarawih prayers together. This becomes a moment to strengthen bonds among Muslims and experience the sense of community in worship. If, for some reason, someone is unable to join the congregation for Tarawih prayers, they can still perform it individually at home. Although it is more encouraged to pray in congregation, performing Tarawih alone still holds great reward. The Tarawih prayer has many virtues that are highly valued in Islam. The Prophet Muhammad said that whoever performs Tarawih with full faith and hope in Allah will have their past sins forgiven. Performing Tarawih in congregation at the mosque strengthens social ties among Muslims. It is a moment for gathering, praying for each other, and reinforcing Islamic brotherhood, Ukhuwah Islamiyah. Through Tarawih, Muslims have the opportunity to increase their worship and draw closer to Allah during this holy month. Extending the prayer with the recitation of the Qur'an is one way to increase piety and reflect on His revelations. However, the practice of Tarawih can be challenging in some places, particularly in countries with strict regulations on religious practices. For example, in China or countries with restrictive religious policies, Muslims may face surveillance of their worship activities, including Tarawih. In regions like Xinjiang, where a large population of Uyghur Muslims reside, the government often imposes strict restrictions on religious worship, including Tarawih prayers. These restrictions can include bans on performing prayers in congregation at the mosque or surveillance of religious activities. In some areas far from mosques or regions with fewer mosques, Muslims may find it difficult to perform Tarawih in congregation. However, they still strive to perform it at home or in small groups. While performing Tarawih, Muslims seek to pray more and ask for blessings from Allah. Many also aim to complete the entire Qur'an during Ramadan, and one of the ways to achieve this is by reciting the Qur'an during Tarawih prayers. Tarawih is not only a physical act of worship but also a spiritual one that strengthens the bond between a servant and their Lord. Through this worship, Muslims renew their intentions and resolve to become better individuals, seeking forgiveness and mercy from Allah. The month of Ramadan is indeed known as a time full of blessings, and many people feel inspired to embrace Islam during this period. There are several reasons why Ramadan becomes such a powerful moment for someone to decide to convert to Islam. Ramadan is a month filled with worship, prayer, and self-reflection. Muslims strive to increase their piety and draw closer to Allah through various acts of worship, such as fasting, performing Taraweeh prayers, reading the Qur'an, and engaging in much prayer. This strong spiritual atmosphere can attract the attention of many people, even those who are not Muslim, to experience the peace and closeness with God that they feel during this blessed month. For some people, the positive changes they observe in friends or family members who sincerely practice their faith can inspire them to embrace Islam. They see the peace, inner tranquility, and strength of faith, which makes them interested in adopting the Islamic faith. During Ramadan, Muslims are highly encouraged to be kind, help one another, and share with those in need. Acts of sharing food for iftar, breaking the fast, and giving charity to the less fortunate are very common. This attitude often draws sympathy and interest from others who see Muslims supporting each other and showing empathy to those in need. For non-Muslims, they might be impressed by the spirit of togetherness and love among Muslims during Ramadan. This kindness and purity of heart can be a motivating factor for someone to embrace Islam. Ramadan often becomes a time for non-Muslims to learn more about Islam. Many mosques organize iftar gatherings or open Islam introduction sessions for anyone, including non-Muslims. This gives them the opportunity to learn more about the Islamic faith, its values, and the traditions it holds. These programs can help answer questions about Islam and provide a deeper understanding of the meanings behind fasting, Taraweeh prayers, and charity during Ramadan. As someone learns more about Islam, they might feel moved to embrace the faith. During Ramadan, Muslims typically spend more time reading and listening to the Qur'an. Many people are impressed by the messages within the Qur'an, especially after hearing beautiful recitations during Taraweeh prayers. The beauty of the Quranic verses and their meanings often inspire someone to search for further truth about Islam and decide to embrace the faith. Ramadan is also a time for introspection and seeking a deeper meaning in life. For many people who are undergoing a spiritual search or feeling dissatisfied with the religion or beliefs they previously adhered to, Ramadan might be the perfect time to rethink and consider Islam as a path in life. When someone feels moved by the inner peace and tranquility experienced during Ramadan, they may feel that Allah is calling them to embrace Islam. Sometimes, someone who witnesses positive changes in family or friends who observe fasting and worship during Ramadan might feel inspired. Social influence and support from loved ones can be a driving factor for someone to embrace Islam, especially if they see their closest people gaining happiness, peace, and spiritual wonder from observing Ramadan. Ramadan often involves many social activities, including shared iftar gatherings, inviting non-Muslims to share meals, and conducting charitable events. People who participate in these activities may feel the warmth, brotherhood, and openness shown by Muslims, which may eventually open their hearts to Islam. Indeed, the month of Ramadan provides an excellent opportunity for many people to learn more about Islam and even decide to embrace the faith. The spiritual strength, kindness of heart among Muslims, and opportunities to learn more about Islam are important factors that influence a person's decision to convert to Islam during Ramadan.